I bought 30 multi-drivers and most of them were a complete waste of money. They have loose bits, a bad fit, and they really just don't work that well. But there are a few that stand out in a major way. And first up is the traditional multi-driver. This is the style most people think of. I'll fly through how it works and then I'll break down each one. Pretty much every brand makes a version of this, but there's one in this group that really stands out among the rest. Let's go ahead and run through what this is. We'll fly through this because a lot of you guys know this is an 11-in-1, and basically all of the bits store inside of this. The downfall to this style and this system is that the bits inside of here are proprietary. I'm going to explain this when we get to our next section. Proprietary bits are like my nemesis. I hate it because once you lose one of these, they're hard to get back. Basically, this houses 11 different bits, including nut driver sizes, Phillips flatheads, squares, and Torx. So we'll go ahead and pull out this bit here. And as you can see, it's a double-sided bit. So each one of these bits is going to house 2 different sizes of driver. And then inside, there's another nut driver, and then you take that out, and there is another bit on the other side and another nut driver in here. That's how they get the 11-in-1. They're very useful. It's very nice to have these. It's compact to have a full set of tools, which is part of it that is just absolutely fantastic, that you can have pretty much all the major sizes of nut drivers and screws that you'll end up using all in one little thing. The hard part is with the proprietary bits, they fall out, you lose them. You can't just go pick up a 1/4-inch bit. So if you end up losing this bit somewhere, it falls out and you don't notice, then you have to go and order a number 2 Phillips and a flathead from Klein. It has to be Klein's. There is a retention ball that holds this in place. The same way with these bits and the same way with the nut drivers inside. They're all held together with these retention balls. Over time, it just wears a little bit. They become a little bit looser. Different brands will hold up for a different amount of time. Klein is like the major one of everybody. When I was coming up had the Klein 11-in-1. Personally, I never loved this. I think part of it is because of the handle. I also just didn't like the multi-drivers because I would always lose my bits and then I would have to order new ones, and that's just a pain in the tail. If we go ahead and look at this here, you can see there's quite a large selection of these drivers. The Klein probably being the #1 pick, like the most used out of anybody that I've ever seen, especially on professional job sites, commercial and industrial job sites. This is the #1 multi-driver that you see. However, I think there's better options than this available now. This is just old trusty, it's old faithful. And truthfully, if you do like the Klein and you want to stick with Klein, go for it. Personally, I like the Klein 5-in-1 a little bit better. It's just got a little bit less going on. It's got pretty much everything you need to it. It just doesn't have all the complications of having bits here and there. It's got one double-sided bit on this side. It pulls out. And the same on the other side. It's got a number 1 Phillips and a smaller flathead than it does on the other side. It's just simple. I like it, especially for what you really end up using most of the time, which is a number 2 Phillips and a flathead. Those are the main 2 sizes that you're looking for. I run into a lot of number 2 square as well, but typically that's got some sort of combination screw, so it's really not even that necessary, especially to have it on you all the time. With that being said, I will say the Klein is still a fantastic option. If you like the 11-in-1, you are going to have every single driver that you need, pretty much guaranteed. I just feel like there's better options. Now, as far as the Wiha goes, Wiha makes an excellent screwdriver. This one here is definitely an okay tool. It's not my favorite. Definitely not out of this group here. The handle is a little bit big, which I have pretty good sized hands. It's definitely not overly large, but for what I like for my screwdrivers to be, definitely just a little bit too big. This is an 11-in-1, so it's got pretty much all of the same stuff that the Klein 11-in-1 is going to have with the nut drivers, the Phillips, flathead, Torx, and square. That's pretty common. That's pretty much the setup that they run with these 11-in-1s. Pretty standard across the board, normal sizes. I personally don't love the Wiha. I think it's a good tool. If you want to use it, you can. If you're just like, I like Wiha, go for it. But these next 2 are going to be the options that if I were choosing this just very traditional style of multi-driver that I would get. The Toughbuilt being on the list because it does everything that the Klein and the Wiha does. It fits. The bits are pretty tight. I haven't lost any of these yet. And it's a lot more ergonomic, meaning it feels good in my hand and I like the way it looks. That's probably the big reason that I don't like Kleins. I just don't find their handles to be very ergonomic. There's a little bit of play here too, which I don't love. Truthfully, it's just not very special. There's nothing cool about it, nothing unique about it. I don't like the way it fits in my hand. And especially when you compare it to something like the Milwaukee, which this is technically a 13-in-1. Got a couple more things on it, but this handle is so much more ergonomic. The black is a softer rubber and the red's a hard plastic. And then the clear part up here is going to be hard plastic as well. This is a pretty common style. Honestly, I just like the way it fits a lot better. It gets a little bit thinner towards the end here. It's got a good texture to it. The bits fit well. I haven't lost any of them yet. And it's 13-in-1, so it's got the whole package. So if I want to just grab this, I know that I'll pretty much have just about any screwdriver or nut driver that I need in a handle. Now, the part of being proprietary that just kind of sucks is that when you lose the bits, you got to order them from that company, that exact bit. And then it's just like there's time in between when you lose it and when you order it and when you get it. And if you use these tools professionally, you want to just have it when you need it. And so that part about it is part that I really don't like. And also there's so many more new options that actually go in your impact. And this one here is going to start our next section because it's a little bit of a hybrid of a traditional 11-in-1 and the 1/4-inch bit drivers that work so much better. Now, I'll kind of cover what that means here in a sec, but as far as this 11-in-1 goes, the impact rated 11-in-1, this is a great mixture of both, and I've really learned to love this driver. You just have to be careful of a few things about it. So we'll go ahead and pull this out. Now, this is the base of it, and basically, if you pull these out, there's a bunch of double-sided bits and nut drivers inside of them. Go ahead and pop this other side out. And this has the same thing, except on the last side, there is actually a little mark. It's got a bit. And this right here is going to be just a normal 1/4-inch bit. I really like this a lot because what this will allow for you to do is it'll allow for you to lose this bit and you can just put another number 2 Phillips in there, or you can pretty much change this out to any 1/4-inch bit that you have, whether that's a random T30 or a T35 bit, or it's some sort of number 2 square, number 1 square, whatever it is, you can put it in here. Security Torx. If you have a 1/4-inch bit, it'll fit in here and you can hold it and use this as a driver specifically for that. Now, the other part about it that's really cool is they have this little piece in the middle, and this is the part that I really love about this driver. So you can see this side is a 3/8 and this side's a 5/16. So if we go ahead and pull this out of the middle here, this is a 1/4-inch drive, which means that this here also takes 1/4-inch drive, which is important. That means I can get my bit case out and I can grab one of these 4-inch bits, whether that's a Phillips or a square. I can put it inside of this 1/4-inch drive here, stick this inside of here, and now I basically have a dedicated driver. I carry a lot of bits like this around with me. That way they can go in my impact or a driver. And this way I basically have a whole thing of screwdrivers or impact drivers. They all go together. They can all be used as one. Now, the one part about this that I don't love though, there's still 3 proprietary bits in this, which I don't love. And just to be aware of it, they don't hold up well in an impact. I know they're impact rated. Klein has a little bit of an issue with these black bits, but they break pretty easily. They snap. And then especially if you break those proprietary bits, then you will have to obviously order proprietary bits, which is no good. Now, you're not going to have that same problem with it as a multi-driver. So that part about it is absolutely fantastic. Like the usage on it is going to be great. And you're not going to have any issues with these different pieces here, like the 5/16 or the 3/8 nut drivers. Those are going to hold up. They're going to stand their ground. So where they really get me at on this is that this middle piece here is proprietary. However, it does hold 1/4-inch bits on either side of it. And so you can even make your own multi-driver if you wanted to. If you would prefer to have one number 2 on this side, and then you could put your 3/8 and, you know, whatever is in the 3/8 side in this and like keep that multi-driver and keep this as a dedicated driver. Now, one of the cool parts that people miss about this a lot, let's just say I want to still use my screwdriver and I want to put something in my impact at the same time. So let's go say I want to use my 3/8 nut driver. So we'll go ahead and put this in here. Well, now we have this extra piece here that's stored in our 11-in-1 typically. And if we lose this, that's a pretty big portion of the 11-in-1. We're basically going to have to order a new one if we lose it. But what you can do is just throw it in the handle and push it down. And now, boom, you have your screwdriver that you can still use. And you have your 3/8 and your impact ready to go, and you're not going to lose your bits. And this right here is going to be the sweet spot. These are going to be the versatile multi-drivers, which basically means they work with the 1/4 inch impact rated bits, and they really work on their own as well. You can see this is the 11-in-1 over here, but the 13-in-1 impact rated ratcheting multi-driver from Klein is probably my favorite out right now, or one of them. This right here is going to be another winner from Klein, and this, I believe, is my favorite style of multi-driver. If you go ahead and look at this, it's got a different look to it, but basically in the front here, it's got double-sided bits. They pop out. These are the ProFlex bits from Klein. The ones with the orange on them, they're good. They're fantastic. My favorite bits out right now. If we go ahead and pop this back open, it's actually got a bit carousel, which is one of my favorite features because it holds all these bits. They're easy to get to. And in order to find the one that I want, I just open this up and find it. I don't have to fight through different layers and take different things out and have to wonder if they're there. The one connection that it has that's visible is going to be the one on the outside. And this holds the bits very well. I'm not sure what kind of retention it's got in here, but it's been fantastic. And these aren't proprietary bits. They're just double-sided Klein bits. I can't tell you how many times I grab just this screwdriver in my impact and walk out the door. If I'm going to help somebody or to do something easy like that, it really is that simple. I have 12 different drivers that go in my impact or in a screwdriver. It is ratcheting. I'm personally am not a big ratcheting screwdriver kind of guy, but it doesn't get in the way. I haven't really had any issues. It's just this little black collar here. If you turn it, it ratchets. It does have a hold function, which is important. It's got a little bit of knurling right here. I love some good knurling. I know it's more so an aesthetic thing than it really is useful. How many times are you really grabbing your screwdriver here and trying to get torque on it? But I like it. The other thing I really like about this driver specifically is how thin the bits are. These are 2-inch bits, which means you have quite a bit of clearance, which typically on a multi-driver, you really run out of room pretty easily. You can see how thick this 11-in-1 is, and honestly, it's not even the thickest out of the bunch. You don't have to be limited by the amount of reach that you get. It's just as thin as a dedicated driver would be. This 13-in-1 actually stays with me pretty much all the time. I actually carry this in my bag, and I have loved using it. You do have to be aware of dropping it. I've heard that they break. I haven't dropped this one high enough yet to break it, but I will say that overall, this pick right here is got to be #1 as far as multi-drivers go. Not what you would consider traditional, but by far more effective for me, and it's so much more versatile than a traditional multi-driver. Up next is probably my second favorite, definitely the one that I loved the most first. This is the Wera multi-driver, and this one here is a very special driver. Now, if you go ahead and look at the front, if I pull this green collar down, this actually condenses down into a shorter driver. If I press it, it goes out, and then if I hold this in, it actually comes out, so this can go in my impact. Now, it does have the larger bit holder here, which is going to take away some of your clearance, but I really like this type of bit holder for most case scenarios. You don't have to worry about losing your bit, and if you want to use the longer bits in this, you can just push this down, and then from there, it's easy. You just slide the bit in there, and now it's pretty much the length of a normal driver. I like this. It gives you a bunch of different options as well. If I want to have it to be even an extended driver, I can. I just like how many different options this gives me. It's also got the original, one of the original bit carousels of this style. If you press this green button on the back of it, this pops open and it carries a bunch of different bits. You can see I've customized these to actually be impact rated for the ones that need to be, because the bits that come in this aren't impact rated. I think there's a version of this that you can get that they actually are. I haven't. I've always had this one, and it's just easier for me to change out the bits to bits I already have than to order another driver. The feeling of these Wera drivers is my favorite. I actually carry these dedicated drivers every day. I love the way they feel in my hand, but these have to be my favorite style of driver. The handle just feels good. The green is a softer rubber and the black is a hard plastic. It's incredibly well made. There's only one tool from Wera that I don't love, and the rest of them are absolute bangers. But there is one coming up that I actually I don't understand. It seemed like a gimmick, and I thought maybe it'll be awesome, and it was just a gimmick. So that one's coming up. But the original driver that put me onto this was this Hazet here. I love the shape of these Hazet drivers. It's got more of a ball shape to it, but not quite. You'll see some more ball shaped stuff later. Pause. But this one here is kind of what originally set me onto that, because I actually would keep this multi-driver in what used to be this case, and basically it would sit in there so I could just use a handle as the driver whenever I wanted to. But then I found the Wera, and it had all the bit storage and the different lengths to it and different things like that, and it just made more sense to use this. The Klein 13-in-1 is awesome, but I would say it fits a different category than the just regular bit holder because of the proprietariness of the double bits. And really that's it. This just can't take all the small 1/4-inch bits. So the bits that I have that aren't 2-inch bits or 4-inch bits that are like security Torx bits, I don't have a way to put that in this Klein handle, where I do have a way to put it in this handle here. They don't actually make this Hazet handle anymore from what I found. I tried to look it up, but there's a new version of it out that I haven't tried yet, so I don't really want to recommend that because I don't know anything about it. But I will say that the two Kleins and this Wera are absolutely fantastic. More so the 13-in-1 and the Wera, definitely my favorite drivers, and these two stay in my bag all the time. Now, if you like ratcheting multi-drivers, and you're thinking about picking up maybe this 14-in-1 Milwaukee, don't. It's literally the worst multi-driver that I've ever used. I absolutely cannot stand it. I opened it and broke the bit carousel. There's like pieces in there. It doesn't work well now. Very, very frustrating. So we go ahead, pop this back. I can't. It's so heavy. It's so clunky. It does not feel good in my hand. The driver itself is pretty large, which is fine. I guess I could get over it. But with this ratcheting up here, like the mechanism to do this is incredibly heavy. It just doesn't feel well balanced at all. The bit carousel broke, and the ratcheting on this it's not smooth at all, which almost defeats the purpose and the very thing that makes this so terrible. Whatever you do, just avoid this one. I don't really say this very often. Typically, if I don't like a tool, I'll tell you, this is an okay tool. It's not for me, but it might be for you. This one, I just don't. Just stay away from it. I like a lot of the made in the USA Milwaukee stuff, but this one right here really turned me off of a lot of their other hand tools. It does have the bit carousel in the back with, I believe, 13 different bits or whatever. And then it's got the one bit in the top here. It's just held in by a magnet. That's fine. That's pretty standard for this style of driver. The Milwaukee one, trash. The Wera one here is by far a way better option as far as the ratcheting bit holder goes. It's got the green button on the back here, which is going to pop open this bit carousel. There are a lot less bits in this than there are in the Milwaukee. You're not going to be using 14 bits anyway. This one here, though, again, the handle, it just feels nice. It's very ergonomic. It's still not as well balanced as a normal multi-driver, but the ratcheting on this is a lot smoother. It's not clunky. This driver itself isn't super out of balance. Like, there's not just a super heavy piece right here and then the rest is plastic. It feels good in my hand. This is probably my favorite pick as far as the just regular 1/4-inch bit driver that is ratcheting. Now, with that being said, if you do like ratcheting, I still would check out the Klein 13-in-1 because of the ratcheting. It feels a lot more balanced. It's a lot lighter, and the ratcheting is incredibly smooth. I like this driver so much anyway, even if it didn't have the ratcheting. So adding the ratcheting on top as a very minimal function, like it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't really affect the driver much, but it gives you the ability to do that if you want to. Now, this is a special one, and we've seen a lot of growth in this area over the last 2 years. Multi-nut drivers. This one here used to be my baby. It went with me everywhere. It was the Klein 7-in-1. This is similar to the traditional style of multi-drivers where they pop out and there's a different bit on each size. The 9-in-1 came out very recently, which is just an updated version. So instead of covering the 7-in-1, we'll just go over the 9-in-1 because it's way better and there's no reason for you to get the 7-in-1 at this point. This one has 2 more sizes and it's all the way pass through, meaning all 9 sizes have completely passed through, so you can run them up onto threads. This is fantastic. This one also has 1130 seconds, which is huge for electricians. If you're redoing lights and you're taking out ballasts, putting in drivers, you need an 1130 seconds. Now, this is just a standard set. They also make a metric one. This is the magnetic or the bit retention one. Not all of these are magnetic. Some of these have a retention ball in them. The ones that are on the outside have magnets. Then the ones that actually store another bit have the retention ball. Either way, it's going to hold your nut or your bolt in place if you're trying to get to something that you need to reach. It's going to actually hold it into place so you can get it on there and screw it on. That's fantastic. You want to have some sort of bolt or nut retention on your drivers. This one does it. It does all 9 major sizes, including 11/32, which is a huge one. And it's forgotten about a lot by a lot of companies. It's frustrating. This one here does stay with me in my bag. This is a winner. There's a couple different brands that make something similar to this. I've just always had Klein's and it's worked. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. And now with the new one, they've made it like 30% smaller. I can't remember. It's definitely a lot smaller. It's shorter and it's a lot lighter. I like the new version a lot. I had the old version. I always kept it with me, but the 9-in-1 has made my life a lot easier, and this is going to be an absolute winner. If you're looking for a good multi-nut driver with pass-through, the 9-in-1 is pretty much the only one that I would recommend. Now, getting into this other section of multi-drivers, these are going to be the flip sockets. Everybody started making these. I'm going to cover the features on this and then show you guys the difference of the Klein and the Milwaukee, kind of tell you my opinion on it. There's one bit that sits on the front. We can go ahead and pop it off and it'll turn, instead of a 1/4 inch, it'll turn into a 5/16. They're all color coded and you can see the bits slip a little bit. But if I want to change this 5/16 out to, let's say, the 9/16, we just slide it off the back. We slide this one off the front. And now we have the 9/16 on the front. And then this can go in our impact or in our handle. And basically it just stores all the other bits that you're not using. I like this a lot. I don't like this for heavy usage. If you're going to be putting in like 5,000, self-tappers, go get a dedicated driver, and that way you're not just wearing on the change out of this. But I actually do keep one of these in my pouch. And that way, if I run into 1 or 2 different types of screws or sizes that I don't just have on me, I can just pull this out, put it in my impact, take care of them real quick. That part of this is nice. They flip. They're double-sided. They really don't take up much space. This is 6 different sizes in one bit. As far as multi, that's a lot of multi, and it goes in a handle or it goes in your impact. Now, the same thing with the Klein. Now, this handle is not the handle that comes with the Klein. This is actually the handle that comes with the hollow shafted nut drivers, which are cool, but they're not part of this. And I don't really have a handle for this because I don't love Klein's handles, but this is their 6-in-1. I definitely like Milwaukee's handle a lot better. The performance is going to be the exact same. There's really not a difference that I've seen in the performance of these multi-nut drivers or the flip sockets. But if you like a lot of the Klein stuff, their KNECT system actually implements so well into this that I would say go into the Klein, invest in the Klein system, because these flip sockets actually share the same profile as their larger flip sockets in their KNECT sets, and they're different things like that. It gives you a lot more versatility if you like the Klein KNECT sets, which I'm a pretty big fan of if you get the right one. Either way, these are gonna be winners for me. I love this style of nut driver. I always keep one of these guys in my pouch. And like I said, if you are going for just the handle or just how this goes and you're not going for the whole system, I think I like the Milwaukee a lot better just because of the way the handle fits. But if you could possibly go into the Klein system, I would go with the Klein just so you have something that'll integrate into what you already have or what you're gonna get. Now, the KNECT system and how it works, it's complicated, okay? I'll leave a link to it in the description. There's a video I did. There's so many boxes. Make sure you get the right box if you're gonna invest in the platform. One of the multi-drivers that they've released is gonna be the 16-in-1 impact rated bit driver, and I just don't like this one here at all. The bit carousel is super cool. They do have a ton more bits in here, which is how it's a 16-in-1, because they're single-sided bits. They are the orange impact rated bits that I like from Klein, the ProFlex. But if we go ahead and close this, the major issue I have with this is the screwdriver function, which is the main function. If you look at this, the bit is held with a 1/4 inch flip socket. Basically, it's got to be pushed up, and if it gets pushed back, it's sitting like this, it's exposed, and it's not secure. This happens all the time. I tried to use this driver, and it just, see it, I'm trying to push the bit up, and now I'm pushing it out of the actual 1/4 inch drive slot. This is the main issue with this, is that they don't actually have a bit holder up front. Otherwise, this would probably be perfect if you could put some flip sockets on this, or if there was a better bit holder on this. Now, the part that I like about this, it does have the 1/4 inch shaft in here. And so basically you can take this out and you can put this in your impact to have a 5/16 or a 1/4 inch drive, or whatever type of bit you want to put in here. The other part about this that is cool, but I don't necessarily get, is going to be the back side of this. It's got a 3/8 head on it. So with this, if you take the bit off, you can go ahead and put this on the back side of this, and now you can put this in your impact, and now you have a 3/8 drive on the end of this that you can put sockets on, which is cool. But like, I don't have any sockets. Why wouldn't I just have an adapter? That's basically what I'm getting at. The only part about that I understand is that you can put it on the back of this handle, and now you have a 3/8 drive on the handle, but even that's not really that useful to me. And at that, if you want to use the backside of this driver, you can't use it with this piece still attached because it doesn't fit. Those are my big gripes. I don't necessarily see the point of this one. This might be for somebody very specific, but it's not for me, I can tell you that. And I haven't really found a good use for it. I like this proprietary part when it's got the 1/4 inch bit drive in there, because it actually allows for you to change things out, to use them how you want to, and for things to be in your impact or in your multi-driver. Now, that is also part of the system. Like I said, it's incredibly complicated, the amount of things that go into it. This one here is one of the Klein KNECT boxes. That's a multi-driver that I haven't seen from anywhere other than the Klein KNECT boxes. I really like this handle a lot for this reason. It is got a couple different lengths to it. I believe 3. This is the longest one, being a little bit more extended, and then it comes out and it fits in your impact. These are going to be the orange bits from Klein, which we love. And in this set, it's also got the major sizes of sockets that you use. These are just the regular 3/8 sockets, not the pass-through, which is also a big bonus for me. It's also got a 3/8 square in here, so you can actually put these sockets in there, and you can put them in your impact, or you can put this little guy right here in your driver, and you can have a 9/16 nut driver now. I just like having the versatility. I like these sockets, and I like the bits quite a bit. This is a kit that you can grab and have legitimately every style of bit that you need. It also comes with the bit holder, and I just like the versatility of being able to close this one down. This one here is going to be a winner for me if you're looking for a kind of a bit case slash do-it-all kit. I like this case. This is going to be a winner for me. Now, with all that innovating that Klein's doing, there's some duds too. And this right here is going to be one of them. It is the impact rated ratcheting stubby from Klein. This is probably my least favorite tool from Klein ever. I got a dud. This is a lemon. It's incredibly loose. There's quite a bit of play, which I've been told isn't on every model. People have commented and let me know. This is just my model. So there's a possibility of you getting a better option. However, the big part that I have an issue with this is, why is it even impact rated if this isn't a true 1/4 inch bit? You can see it's super funky, it's super weird, but if you put this in an impact, it's just super loose, like not like it's supposed to be. And truthfully, like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't put a normal impact style on here. I don't know if there wasn't enough space, but it looks like there was. So we go ahead, pop this out, and it's the same thing as the traditional style of 11-in-1s where they have the dual-sided bits. These are going to be extremely small bits, obviously proprietary. There's weird proprietary nut drivers in this as well. Now, it will give you the option to put 1/4 inch bits in here in the little bit driver piece. Honestly, I just don't love the way this functions. The ratcheting's good, but mine is loose, so that part doesn't matter. And really, the Wera blows this one out of the water. If we go ahead and pop this back open, it's got the bit carousel, which is fantastic. We'll go ahead and throw our number 2 Phillips in here, and we're good to go. This also means that I can throw any other 1/4 inch bit in here. So that means if I have my bit case here and I need this random T40 Torx bit in a stubby, I can put it in here. T40 is probably not going to happen, but some of these little Allens are going to happen. You're going to need a stubby for them sometimes. And this stubby from Wera is just made incredibly well. The ratcheting on this is very smooth. The ratcheting on this is smooth. It feels good in my hand. It's very, very quality, and there's no issues with it. There's no gripes. I don't have any complaints about this. The handle is definitely not as ergonomic as the larger ones are, but it feels good. It's a Stubby. What do you want me to say? This one right here is going to be my big winner for the Stubby drivers because it's 1/4 inch, which means you can have a Stubby in any of these weird, strange bits that you need, and it just looks cool. Now, these are probably the strangest multi-driver that I have. They're 1/4 inch, and this is the ball shape that I was talking about coming to you later. These are the electric screwdrivers from Vessel. It's pretty cool. It's a very unique design, and basically they go forward or backward, and if you're not pressing the button, they're sturdy and stable. It just takes 1/4 inch bits, which is pretty fantastic. You guys know how I feel about 1/4 inch bits and not having proprietary stuff. I don't know. I just didn't find myself using this as much as I thought I would. I use my impact a lot, and I think I just like having a normal driver. But if you're looking for something crazy and weird, this one here comes in a kit. They've got different torque ratings, different things. There's a bunch of different like unique colors that are available. I like these a lot. The shape of them, they're very unique, which is cool. Obviously the case is whatever. I would never carry this in a case as far as like working from it goes, but these bits do fit really well. And Vessel is just an overall pretty sick company. The one that I didn't like from them that I wanted to love was this multi-driver here. It's got double-sided blades to it. There's just no hold function on them, and so it almost makes it, it's not a good fit. It comes out a little bit. It's pretty tight. It's just not as tight as I would like for it to be. And honestly, I didn't feel like this was the same quality as the other Vessel stuff that I have. That's really the only reason I didn't love this. They didn't match the quality of their dedicated drivers, which I actually really like. So this one here, I would actually avoid. I don't really care for it. If you want to try their drivers, go try a dedicated driver. Or honestly, the price tag on these isn't ridiculous. It's pretty low, especially for what you get. You might like it a lot more than I do, depending on what you do. One other very strange driver that I thought was so cool. It's the only tool from Wera that I don't like, and it's their Cyclops pocket set. It's got a bit carousel, which is great. Wera makes a great bit carousel. They make great bits. The handle, the green's, a softer rubber. It's got some texture to it. And on the head here, it's got a 3/8 square, which is cool. And then on the inside, it's got a 1/4 inch bit holder. I like that so much. It's got a lot of options, got a lot of great stuff. I love the Cyclops ratchets. I have a bunch of them. They're amazing. The ratcheting on this is super smooth. It's an actual like ratchet. This is how they do their ratchets. They do them with these swivel heads. And so you can do them in the straight position with an angle, straight, and then it also goes to the other side. I like that so much. To change directions, you just move this little green piece on the back. The main issue, as far as using it as a multi-driver, it doesn't have a hold function. Not having a hold function is pretty much a deal breaker when it comes to using screwdrivers, and I don't love the reach of this head and the neck here to actually use this as a ratchet. There's just not enough leverage. I don't care for it whatsoever, and it's incredibly expensive. I love Wera, and this is probably the only product of theirs that I haven't been super impressed with and pretty much use as my everyday driver. Now, when we start getting into insulated multi-drivers, there's only a few that are even worth talking about. Wera's, I don't actually have Wera's insulated multi-driver. I should probably pick one up. So if you're looking, just know that that's also an option. Honestly, I haven't always loved using them. I use dedicated insulated drivers, so this isn't always a priority for me. First up is the Mega Pro. This one is a new, it's their Defender series. Mega Pro is a big player in the space. This is definitely a lot different than what they usually make though. And honestly, this handle is just, it is incredibly massive. The back side of it, it's way too thick. The one bonus to this is that it just takes the bits. It's the slimline bits. If you push that up, it pops out. These pop back in. But this is going to be proprietary, which is no good. They are insulated. It's all in one, which is cool. I like that. But these bits, there's just nothing special about this. And honestly, the package that they come in is just not great. So what that should look like, something similar to this. This is what most styles look like. They come with a handle. This is going to be the Milwaukee 8-in-1. And all of these have their own different tips to them. Now, this one here, the Milwaukee, it's an okay option. There's a couple things that I like about this a lot and a couple things that I just not a huge fan of. These are slimline, which is cool. There's no bump out here. A lot of insulated drivers will have a bump, gets in the way sometimes, especially for breakers and stuff. This one comes with a package. Obviously, you don't have to keep this in the package either. This takes up a lot more space than just having all of these blades out separate. The handle itself is really light. It doesn't have a locking mechanism, which I don't love that it doesn't, but I will say that these fit probably better than any other bit that I've put in anything. They don't have a 1/4-inch base here. It's a little bit thicker. I don't know what it is. Even right now, like, I'm pulling on this a decent amount, and it takes quite a bit to actually get this out. It's not difficult to get out. It by no means gets stuck like some of the multi-drivers do. It just has a very firm fit for not having a locking mechanism. That being said, there's no wiggle in this either, though, which a lot of multi-drivers have. The winner of this category has got to go to the Klein. This screwdriver here is pretty sweet. If we go ahead and turn this, the bit actually pops out. It comes with dual-sided bits, which I like. It's going to save you some space. These are the slim line. It's got the orange, so it's very visible. This basically acts as a fully dedicated driver, which is something that I prefer, which is nice. And it's got 2 different blades on it. So if I want to just keep this in my pouch, I have my number 2 Phillips or my flathead on there. As far as form goes, definitely not my favorite handle. But in this category, I would say other than potentially the Wera, which I haven't used, so I can't speak to, and I don't believe that their bits are double-sided either. It comes with, I believe, 3 or 4 of these, and then from there you have every size. And I like that they did this too, where it's not the number 2 and number 1 Phillips on the same blade, but it's the most common used. So that way, when you want to change blades, you just have to pop it out and flip it around. When you're going from putting in an outlet to like putting on the device cover, you can just flip it around. Boom, you got your flathead right here, ready to go and insulated. If I were picking up anything in this category, I'm going to have to go with this one. I actually like this driver and I actually use it a lot, especially compared to these two. I just don't ever see myself using this Mega Pro. It's extremely large, and the Milwaukee set is okay, but this has the dual-sided bits. It flips in and out. It's got a locking mechanism. I like everything about this. And in the same fashion, in the electronic drivers, Klein also makes a pretty fantastic version of this for their smaller electronic drivers. My only issue with this is that I don't really do that much with electronics, and so this doesn't really suit me that well to have an insulated set here. The cap spins. It's going to be the same form of most electronic drivers. That part's great. It just has the dual-sided bits that you just saw. It comes in the case, and it's got 4 dual-sided bits. You know the deal. I think it's a great driver. The functionality of the multi-driving itself is pretty sweet. I just don't do that much of it, and so keeping a driver that's that well-versed doesn't really make sense for me. I really like this style here. This is the Klein. It's the same as their traditional multi-driver. It's just for electronics. And I like this because I don't use electronics that often. And so when I do, it's nice to just be able to have this in my bag. It takes up one spot. And then from there, I pull it out, use it, and I'm done. Klein makes one. Jonard makes one. They have a bunch of different size ranges and different things like that. Mega Pro also makes one. This one's got a little bit different of a bit setup than those. It's not necessarily the smaller style, but Mega Pro, again, they've got these dual-sided proprietary bits. They fit well. You're not going to have any issue losing these bits. I will say that they fit probably better than most, but there's also nothing special about these Mega Pro drivers. The handles are really large, not very ergonomic, and they have proprietary bits. So that part about it is kind of a loss for me, where it doesn't really make sense or it doesn't really fit in my workflow all that well. And then finally, the winner of the electronic drivers, it's got 14 different bits. They're going to be the same bits, the same style. I just like the Milwaukee because it feels better in my hand. It's more ergonomic. This black is a softer rubber, so it gives you some texture, something to actually hold on to when you're dealing with this small stuff. And then on top of that, it's just slightly larger than the Klein or the Jonard. I like that. It gives you a little bit more control while not being too big and not able to like actually use it the way you want to. The difference in quality of these isn't so significant that if you have the Klein, you need to go to the Milwaukee. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're just about to pick one up and you're looking for what the best version is, I personally would prefer the 14-in-1 from Milwaukee every day over the Jonard or the Klein. And that's mostly based on the feel and the fit and just how I like the driver itself. Now, there's a lot of tools in this list, and if you guys want to see how I carry mine, you guys can head up to this video right here. Remember, it's all for his glory, and I will see you guys on the next one.